What's happening? The conversation I have today is with long-term friend of mine, Tim. We speak youth work. He's currently a youth worker and has been for quite a while. Tim's another person that comes to mind about when I kind of wanted to start this, because Tim and we dive into it pretty deeply. He's pretty honest in this episode, which was it was a really good chat. I really enjoyed it. But he kind of touches on pretty deeply how lost he felt. I think it was early 20s, mid-20s. Had no idea what he was doing. He was doing a trade, had a kid come, and then just found inspiration and a drive to do something. And what he ended up stumbling into is something he's very, very passionate about. I think anyone that knows Tim now and then, it's two different people. Still a pain in the ass, but he just like focused and driven, and he got sober, and we talk about sobriety and how that played a part in his work and that sort of stuff. It was a really good conversation. Like I said, one of the original reasons, or like when I was writing a list of like shit I wanted to talk about, was like finding something you're passionate about, whether it's a career or a business or a passion, a hobby, whatever the fuck, like I think the age we all are, or I am, it's like you get kind of lost. So Tim's like a beacon of light for someone that was like so far the opposite end and then has just like flipped his life around. And I don't mean he was a pile of shit. I just mean he's headed a completely different direction now, which is inspiring. And he's like, the work that he's doing is incredible. So we get into it. Again, it's a very good friend of mine. So it was, and we talk a lot and there's no real filters or boundaries, but you don't really get into this level of conversation just casually, which is, I guess, the benefit of having a camera and all this sort of stuff. So, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I hope somebody listens to this and takes something from it. I wouldn't say reach out to Tim because I don't even know if it's supposed to be. Whatever. Enjoy the episode. Thanks. Timothy.
Dun, dun, dun.
How are you, man?
Good, man. How you going?
Good, brother. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here.
I haven't seen you for a while.
No, yeah, well, last time I think was at, we got a meal. We got a Korean barbecue.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Looking good. You're what? You just told me you're 4 months sober or something?
Yeah, so I was like 124 days. I have an app on my phone.
Who's counting?
Mate.
Is that anything? I might as well introduce it. You're a youth worker.
Yeah.
Have been for a while now.
Yeah.
Did that have anything to do with work, or did that?
I think like I was enjoying my career heavily.
Yep.
And like when you're drinking all weekend, well, not that I was drinking all weekend, but when you go on a big weekend and you're wrecked for like half the week.
Yeah.
It's just,
you can't give your all.
Yeah. And I feel like this year I was like, I want to step it up.
Yeah.
I was like, I've spent too long of my life doing nothing great.
Yep.
So I was like, yeah, among like a lot of things, going sober. Yeah, like it was just, yeah.
And noticeable difference at work?
Yeah,
Just being like not...
I'm still stupid. But,
yeah, okay. It doesn't fix that. All right, so
But
back to the beginning.
good.
So you're a youth worker.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
I've said this to you before, off camera, of course.
Yeah.
You're like one of the key people I want to speak to, the idea of you in the sense that you quite late in life found out what you wanted to do. Like you stumbled across like would you say a passion?
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's probably like the first job that I've had that I'm good at.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because it was as a friend of yours, and we were seeing each other quite a lot at the time, like there was a noticeable switch in like bricklayer Tim to kind of stumbling on this path. How'd that happen? How'd you get there?
So essentially I've always thought about youth work.
Okay.
I feel like, I grew up as a bit of a at-risk teen doing stupid stuff. Mm-hmm. And then like hip hop, I think, there's so many like artists in Perth that are also like youth workers.
Yeah.
And then you hear about it that way and you see them working with young people and stuff like that. And then
there is quite a lot, isn't there? Like, I guess they want to give back to the scene they kind of grew up through or something.
Yeah, well, and hip hop is very empowering.
Yep.
Like the workshops and stuff they do, like, gives young people confidence. And
did you think about this stuff back when we were making music, or just when you were a kid? Did you surely didn't have the outlook you have now on those workshops? Or
no, I didn't even know what it was.
You didn't pay too much mind to it.
Yeah, like I always think back to this thing, like with Bitter Belief, when we did that track, Intrusive Thoughts at Shakers, and he was like, I do. He was talking about night shift, and in my head I was like, I wonder what he actually does for a job, like in a factory or something. And I think he was like a youth worker then, talking about that. So like, I never made the connection, but
so it was, you went from, for those that don't know, you're a bricklayer.
So I was a bricklayer.
You're a TA,
I went through many,
a TA?
Well, I was a labourer, then I laid bricks, and I was trying to do an apprenticeship, and like I essentially, because I just needed a job. Yeah. Like, you know, I had Addie quite young when I was 19. Yeah. My daughter. So I wasn't working. I had no aspirations. I just picked up something.
You couldn't really afford to sit down and think about what you wanted to do. You know, you kind of had to work.
Jumped into it, and then that.
Because you were what, it was 4 years in?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Before you stumbled into youth work?
Yeah. I was in it like 5 years. I was starting to make better, like, I was starting to lay bricks. I was trash. Like, like genuinely, like, and it's this thing that I was stuck in that I was like, well, I can't do anything else. I'm stupid. If I go to TAFE, I'll fail. Yeah. Like there was no.
So you were self-deprecating.
Dude, you know? There was no confidence. And looking back, it's crazy. Yeah. Like I can't.
Like if someone had took you aside and said, or maybe instilled some faith or pointed you in a direction. Sure. Yeah.
But there was nothing. And it was a stressful time in my life. Like,
you just had a kid for sure.
Yeah, but even like further on into the 4 or 5 years, like when like there was a shortage of work and I was off work for like 8 months on Centrelink, you know, my mental health was at an all-time low. And I just built myself back up for a year, and I was working with bricklaying, and it's a funny story. It's kind of petty how I got into it, but like my friend like Pato was like, he was like, yeah man, I've gone into a course and I'm gonna do PT, and I was like, oh, you're sick. And I was like, well, if he can do it, like, why don't I give something a go?
Yeah, good.
And I just felt like all my friends were doing stuff and I was doing nothing.
Wanted to level up, so to speak.
Yeah, and then I was like, screw it, man. Like, I was like, went on the TAFE site, looked into youth work, applied.
And that the choice to go through youth work was because you'd always kind of wanted to, you'd been around that on the youth side of things, and you just kind of always knew that's something you wanted to study. And when the opportunity arose and they were put in front of you, you went, it's definitely youth work. Like, it stood out to you.
The thing is, I had no idea going into it what exactly it is. Yep. Like, I spoke to a couple of people I knew and stuff, and I had no idea, but like I knew that when I was young, there was youth workers that came and helped us get the jumps,
like Bailey and stuff
from
like that.
City of Joondalup, and so I had
an idea.
I had some idea, but when I went to TAFE, luckily enough, I fell more in love with it. Like I was like, this is sick. Like, you know,
which is a good thing. Like, because if you got there and it just not ended up being what you wanted it to be, you could have just back to laying bricks or something, you know?
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah. But luckily enough, you know, and...
Yeah, because you were driven, man. Like, there was... Like I said, we were obviously hanging out quite a bit. I don't know if we were still making music at that time, but we were, like, still catching up a lot. Yeah. It was like if someone flicked a switch. Yeah, you know?
Well, I don't know. It was like empowering.
And just reinstilling faith in yourself, I suppose.
Yeah, well, knowing that, like, as I started to study... I started to volunteer, and people were like, kind of like, I was getting compliments, and like people were like, oh, you know, you probably make a good youth worker, like
while in a course, like
passing everything easily, thinking, oh, okay, like actually retaining and learning something. In school.
Because probably you weren't passionate.
Nah, nothing clicked. So for the first time in my life, like, something clicked in my brain, and I was like, this makes sense to me.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was, And
it was, you went straight to diploma, I think you said.
I was in there a week, and they were like, you can change the diploma if you want.
So you signed up for Cert 4, within a week, they were like, look, bump up.
No, but not to me, to anyone could have. And they were like, make the decision now, and I was like, dude, done.
Why would I waste a year if I could just go? Yeah,
man. Like, good. And that's kind of it. Like,
you probably didn't have I was going to say, you probably didn't have the time.
No, and that's
it's not like you just finished high school, what are you, 17 when you leave? You know,
Yeah.
you got a kid.
Yeah.
You don't have the choice, you know?
Nah, and the thing is,
Pulled the
like,
trigger.
going to study was tough enough. Like, no income. I sold my car.
Yeah, I
I was
remember
using
that.
my mum's car just to go and study.
Yeah. Did having a daughter play any part in youth work? I always wanted to ask you that. Like, did she have, was there any part of you that when I want to, you know, people to be brought up in a certain world? Like, did Addie give you any perception or didn't really?
Nah, I think it's more like just me being a good, like, dad.
Yeah.
Like, so having a job.
Yeah.
Like, being someone she can look up to.
Yeah.
Not like a waste of space, you know? Like,
Yeah.
that drives me. Not necessarily like youth, like work was like, oh, I'm going to save the kids.
Yeah, of course.
It was, just more about,
Just making her proud.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Being in a good career.
Yeah.
That she can be like, oh, yeah.
My
you
dad
know?
does this.
Stable career. I'm not out of work. I'm not in Centrelink. Like,
Yeah. Now you went to, you finished diploma, and then what's the story? You went, you knew somebody,
Yeah,
you were volunteering a lot.
Alty, Dan, good guy. Very, very close with him to this day.
Oh, nice. A fellow youth worker?
Barely knew him. Yeah, he is. He is. He is still to this day. So we knew him through hip hop.
Yep.
Very briefly, and I made a status on Facebook like, gonna go do youth work, yada yada. And he messaged me like, hey dude, I work here. Like, if you ever want to like volunteer, like hit me up.
Nice.
You can do your prac. And in the first couple of weeks, I thought, like, I messaged him. I was like, hey man, can I just come volunteer like once a week? Like, what's the go? Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather get my prac done. I want to. And I started doing that, and that was like an hour's drive, volunteering, and yeah, that worked out really well.
So that's how you fell into the job you're in now?
Yeah.
So you're,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if I can say that, but
I can bleep it out. That's fine. Now, with that being said, you go from, so within the course of a year, from being a brickie to, what's that turnaround from not being too happy being a brickie to signing up, completing your course and an employee? How long was that?
like pretty quick turnaround. Like, as soon as I left and started going to TAFE, it was just, like, obviously I wasn't waking up slugging it every day, so
Yeah.
that was a bonus, but just the people in my class were awesome, the lecturers, then this volunteer, like, everything was happening, and a lot of people doubted me, like, in the fact of, like,
Friends, or
family.
Yeah, wow, really?
Because
I mean, the second you said it, I mean, I made a million jokes, as I do to this
Yeah.
day with you, but like, it was like, of course.
yeah, but
Like,
like I think at that point I'd never proven myself to stick at
Right,
anything.
you never finished anything.
I would talk about doing
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many things.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why I feel like I'm a bit more driven now is because I can recognize that bullshit
Yeah.
that I was spinning for so long. So yeah, there was doubt, like, you know, from so many people. Like, I don't want to name names and like,
Yeah, no, that's fine.
but like not because they didn't think I could do it, but because I'd never proven myself to be a consistent person.
Yeah, they didn't want to instill faith in you when
And
there was no
this is
reason
just
to.
another thing, like,
Yep.
and like it's understandable, but
And did they later come around once?
as soon as they
now
saw
they're
that
like,
drive, and I
yeah.
was like, this is what I'm doing. Like, saw me in a volunteer position, and then I got a job. Like,
Yeah, like
3
I said, it
months
was
into
night and day,
that.
man. From you before till
Yeah.
like the volunteering, driving, it was, you couldn't not notice it.
Yeah.
I would have to assume, and not to keep comparing it to bricklaying because that's, you know, in its own right, but you yourself must find it like rewarding personally,
Oh yeah, dude. Like,
because the role just seems to be like it would.
it's incredible, man. Like, it's really hard work and
Exhausting?
draining and mentally and like, at all different aspects. Like, you come into it and you're hearing fucked up shit.
Yep.
And then now I'm at the point where I'm stepping up to more senior stuff. So it's
Yeah.
like the young people are one thing, but then now it's about like helping other workers and making
so
sure
you're a step
reports
up
are
now.
done. And
Can you
stuff
say
like
what your
that.
role is? Obviously, I'll bleep out the.
No, like, so I'm a youth worker, like, I guess senior youth worker, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
like stepping up into that.
So
kind of
you're
role.
starting to run like day-to-day operations for.
Well, I'm full time now, and so like it's like all the background stuff, the reports, like just
yeah, because it's not just going to skate
supporting the
parks and
team.
handing out hot dogs.
No.
Like, yeah.
like there's a few different things I do, like like a drop in, like young people can just pop in. Like I'm involved in like a care school, so it's
Yep.
like for young people don't really go to mainstream school and need support in other areas.
Yep.
And it's just that life stuff, man. Those life skills and
Yep.
lessons. And
Have you noticed, like, I mean, obviously you make an impact every day, but have you noticed like a progression of like a certain somebody or a certain,
yeah,
like,
dude,
have you seen like
absolutely.
people at the start maybe start coming to drop in and like 4 months later, it's like,
Well, like one of this care school thing that I work and involved with, like the young people that came in, they've been in for like 11 weeks, and we've had people who've met them before come in and be like, they're a whole different person.
Yeah, right.
Like, going for jobs, like better regulation with themselves,
Yep.
and like it's, yeah, like at the moment,
like life changing.
yeah, it is. And it's about that right support, like, and you know, schools, teachers they don't have time
No,
to
it's
have
not their job,
one-on-ones
which-
with
yeah.
every young person. So it's like, yeah, that's why I like
Which
being
is
a youth
unfortunate
worker.
as well, yeah.
It is, yeah.
Because that's probably like what the hell did I read it on the other day? On Instagram somewhere. It was like, at what point do we stop trying to pull people out the river and walk upstream to see why they're falling in? Like,
Yeah,
like,
right.
you know what I mean? Like prevention. And it's
Yeah.
like, you think about it, like you end up, and some stuff you can't help, but you're obviously at the start of that river trying to prevent things from happening later in life.
Yeah.
Like I could only imagine it would be like,
Very true. We are at a very preventative
yeah,
stage,
because
and that's
youth,
how, yeah,
you know,
yeah, for sure.
And as you said, teachers probably don't have the time. And
No.
I know a teacher, a specific one in mind, but that's like does go the extra mile, but not
and
every
there
teacher
would be
can.
the
man.
teachers out there.
Yeah, and they can change lives
Just
as
like
well.
there would be teachers out there that are trash and like expect
Yeah.
young like people to do what they want, but then there would, you know,
or like mental health isn't a real thing, or so, you know, like all this stuff.
we, you know, yeah, calling people who care about young people like hippie teachers.
Yeah, silly.
You know, but there's
you-
also could be youth workers that are out there that are
Yeah, there's
trash.
bad people in every role. Do you have like a favorite aspect of the job? Like enjoyable?
favorite.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm guessing managing stuff and organizing the day to day isn't that like, is there a certain aspect that you personally, you're like, fuck yeah, I get to do this today?
Just like helping them achieve something they want to achieve,
Yeah.
like, or exposing them to new activities, like, you know, graffiti, hip hop, and letting them do it in a safe environment. Seeing them just try new skills, you
Yeah.
know, because that's what I think it comes down to is like if you're trying heaps of different things, and one of the things we do at work is like it's called like a session where they learn a new skill.
Yeah.
You see like their confidence grow in that,
Yeah.
because they just try everything. No
Yeah,
one's good at everything,
Yeah.
but if they can spark, you can spark something.
Yeah,
in
yeah, they may
someone.
not know that they were into knitting or like
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
the fuck,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
It does. You just to go back, you said like graffiti and hip hop, and I do find like when we grew up with like having youth workers around certain areas and stuff, it does always tend to it always seems to be very hip hop based,
yeah.
or at least the worlds that I walk in. It does seem to like a lot of youth work. Is that because that's like the most at risk tend to be into that cult? Like, what is that? Do you know what I mean? Would you
I don't
agree?
know,
You see it a
like-
lot more than I do.
I don't know. Like for me, yeah, I don't know.
More
because
understanding.
maybe hip hop's cool. Like,
Yeah.
like, dude, I don't know. Like, all I know is that, like, there's a graffiti thing that's run through our work, which is like full like hip hop heads and like graph artists come to. But
Yeah.
like, I'll expose it to young people that would never be
Yeah,
in
that are outside of that world.
So like,
And do they enjoy it?
yeah, they love
Oh,
it.
Yeah,
dude,
that's cool.
You know, so it's like.
art.
It doesn't necessarily have to be about the graffiti, but they're trying something and
So
they
it's
get
more the active-
confident from.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you know
And
what I
probably,
mean? Just
like-
getting involved.
And you instilling
we do plenty of
confidence
stuff, you
in
know?
them, you know?
Yeah. Feeling good about themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like I can do this because, hey, they might be at school, like they might not be learning very well, like they might not be feeling good about themselves, but hey,
And
like,
it circles back to you applying for TAFE and not feeling like you
And
could do
that's
it.
the
You know,
crazy
that's
thing,
it's a
man.
cycle.
that's why
And you're
Yeah.
not, you don't have the when most people. I shouldn't be so definitive, but most children don't have the awareness at that age to like realize.
Oh, no.
Like at this age, if you feel beat up about yourself, you're aware of it.
Yeah.
And you can be like, you know, and you know how to maneuver around that.
Maybe
You
us,
don't-
but there could be people our age who are still
that don't.
And
But I
was
mean,
24,
it's less likely at that age
absolutely.
that they're aware.
Yeah, definitely.
They just feel like they can't do anything.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and then you come along, teach them a new skill, they love it, and they get
feel
this
good about
passion.
themselves, and
Yeah, man, it's fucking awesome.
And that's what I like about what we do, is because, you know, I feel like when I was younger, if I was exposed to maybe more stuff, you know, probably would have laid off, you know, doing half the shit I did, you know,
Yeah.
getting involved in like
Of course.
drugs and drinking and stuff like that.
You never
And,
know.
Yeah. But
I did want to ask you. I know. I mean, you're sober for a while now.
yeah.
But that's separate. I mean, it ties in, but it wasn't because of work.
Yeah, I got sober because of
Just personal stuff.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Do you find it hard now? Not just drinking and stuff like that. You obviously have to now be a role model
Yeah.
for work.
Yeah.
Like even outside of work, you have to move in certain ways, speak certain ways. Do you find that hard at any point? Is there anything you still do in life where you can catch yourself sometimes not doing something or doing something and regretting it because you have to maintain a certain, I don't want to say image because it's not like they're around you, but you obviously have to filter yourself a bit more when you're in a role like that.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, man. Like, and I was thinking about this on the way here. I was like, because you feel like a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Like, imagine going on a bender all weekend and coming into work and then like talking to the young people about
Of
don't do
course.
this. Like,
Yeah.
not that you would do that, but for me it was life changing in that respect of like I do want to be a role model.
Yeah.
Like, but
It seems like, at least from the outside, correct me if I'm wrong, you were kind of you're already on that path anyway.
yeah,
Like the things that you can't do for work's sake,
yeah.
you kind of weren't doing anyway.
Nah, I'm not.
Like it goes in line with what you want to be doing at the moment in life. So.
I've always wanted to be like sober.
Yep.
You know, I smoked a lot of like weed growing up, and then I got into drinking.
Yep.
Like, and I've just always feel like addiction's been a bigger part of my life.
Yep.
So now I'm in this really good headspace where I'm
Yeah.
like, don't need drinking, enjoying my work, you know, sport.
Positive.
So for me, it's like freedom. It's
Yeah.
like I've never explored this.
Yeah. Something new.
Freaks people out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't. Like again, I speak to you every day, so it's like I've kept up to date with the journey. But it's impressive, man. Like it's
Cheers,
would you say
man.
100 and something? You know, it's a
Yeah,
long
it's
time.
4
dude.
months, 100. I got this app on my phone that
yeah.
tracks it. And but with the image stuff, like I think maybe with like hip hop,
Yeah.
like it would be hard.
Well, that's what I was alluding to. Is like there's
That's
certain.
I don't know the line. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like I just couldn't justify being on a track like promoting things.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'd probably get fired. But
Yeah.
like I've definitely had conversations with my manager and stuff around it, and I think.
But other than that, you haven't struggled. Like if you and I were to make a song, let's say you're like, I don't know about this, showed somebody, and they like that's probably as close as it gets to you having to like. There's not many other aspects in your world.
Like, dude, what, you know, I'm 27. Like, I'm not out there doing much anyway, you know? Like, be a good, I got a kid as well. Like, I want to be a good person.
That's what I mean. By default, you were kind of already going down that path.
It worked
and it just
well,
happened to align, you know?
But I can imagine for other youth workers that are struggling.
Or younger, or, you know.
That's the
or
thing,
not
man,
younger in
yeah.
age, but maybe not at the point in life that you're at.
Yeah.
I could see it being like.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
That would be, getting up to mischief and like watching your back. And, well, I've heard stories of youth workers because, you know, we work from 18 to 25. That you're a young person until you're 25.
You mean 18 to 25 is youth?
No,
like your
so young
clients
person
or your.
is defined as like 12 to 25, give or take.
Yep.
So you could be at a pub, a club,
Right,
and
I
run into
see,
someone
and-
you're working with,
Yes.
and so you
So that
do
you
have to
can-
look after yourself
yeah.
if you're in that position. And
You have to be kind of conscious at a pub. That,
man. Like, so
Which is justified. I mean, it makes complete sense.
absolutely.
Another thing I wanted to ask you: now that you've been an at-risk youth, whether you're aware of it or not, you
I
were.
was an at-risk youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Now that you're a youth worker who's done it for quite a while,
Yeah.
enjoy it, you know the ins and outs of it. What makes someone a good youth worker? I mean, obviously,
And, you know, I'm still learning as well. Like, I
course.
think that's a big thing is like, you know, I don't know everything, but I'm keen to learn it.
Yep.
Keep learning, like young people focused, putting their needs ahead of yours.
Yep.
Enjoying it. Like, don't become complacent. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not.
Well, that's how
digging
those
it,
teachers
man,
end up.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
going to
being
burn out. And
yeah.
I've burnt out.
Would you just
I
take
feel like
time off or just let
it's just
step back a bit?
Yeah, meditation helps.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, just it's hard, man. People want to like, especially in these roles, because people come from backgrounds where it was hectic for them, so they want to come and help people,
of course.
And then they might overdo it, and I don't know, man.
So just
keep learning, keep
learning.
fresh.
Don't burn out.
Yeah, and like I'm good at it. I feel like I got called a talented youth worker today, and I was like, that's good, but I don't want to get a big head of myself, and I'm not better than anyone by far. But I just love.
Yeah, it's not a competition. It's not.
Yeah, I'm passionate. I just love it.
Yeah, I can tell. That's why I wanted to speak to you.
If my team, if I was working with someone, I want to help them get better.
Yep.
Like not because I know something, I'm going to put you down about it.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky enough to have a really good team and shit like that.
A rising tide. What is it? Rising tide rises all ships or whatever.
That's it.
You know,
it's fucking beautiful. Man.
How many people you work with?
15.
Yeah, so quite a large team. And you're quite
like
close?
different aspects and different places and stuff. And
Yep.
yeah, like for sure. And you'd have to be like, I feel like I've been very lucky in my career to have worked with great people.
Yeah.
It makes me anxious to think that you could go to a team and it would be trash. Because
Well, that's any industry, man. Like I know many a story where someone was passionate or they were doing what they love and they step into an office where it's just toxic and they just give up. I don't want to say give up, but they're like, oh, this isn't for me. And it's like, no, just that environment wasn't for you.
Yeah.
You know, I could imagine that would happen in all roles, not just youth work.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just got to be supportive, man. You can't put people down and expect results.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is. But yeah, I feel very supported and
Nice. Well, I guess to wrap it up, and you kind of answered it anyway, but to ask you directly, what advice would you give? Because I mean, you're the key example of like
anyone?
Yeah, I'll finish my sentence. Of someone who was like kind of lost, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah.
Just that feeling of like mid-20s, not knowing what the hell you want to do.
Shit.
Absolute trash bag. And you stumbled into, however it may happen, happenstance. You ended up finding out like a passion, which happened to be youth work. What advice do you have for people that either specifically in youth work or just people that may have that same feeling? What advice would you give to either? You can answer both.
I reckon just take the leap. Just fucking put yourself in a situation. Like, I didn't give myself an option to fail. Like, I don't know. It sounds corny, but
yeah,
I just fucking did it, man. Just go for it. If
Jump
you want
out
to
your
try
comfort
something,
zone.
just give it a go. Like,
yeah.
Like, I didn't have fuck all. I had nothing. Like, I was broke. I was a loser. Like, I know it's a bit harsh, but like in my eyes, like, I wasn't living life well. That's for sure. And yeah, you just got to give it a try, man. Because if you don't, you never know. Like, yeah.
Well said, man. Well, it was good. It was a really good conversation, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, dude. Good luck with the podcast.
Keep saving the youth.
I listen to this podcast every day.
Cheers, man.